we are riding into high investment phase across our continent, from Japan all the way to West Asia, even North Africa, I can add. And the cost of capital will come down.
Well, this is the second time I come. First time was in 2023. I had to skip 2024. So I was very pleased to have the opportunity to come this year. And just like 2 years ago, I really enjoyed the event. High quality speakers, very well organized.
From our side of the world, at least we saw the privatization of the Manila airport, hopefully making it from one of the worst to an improved airport.
But what is really changing is every market is moving away from a subsidy-driven environment to very much an unsubsidized environment, and everyone is going through a different phase of rapid growth on that sector.
No, thank you for inviting me to the event. I think it was a great curation of the Electron piece, the big infrastructure thematics around AI, data center growth, and as well finishing up with the Electron in terms and also molecules in terms of hydrogen. Wrapping that up, I think the great thematics and the wide things that's going to be taking shape for the Asian infrastructure space as we go forward.
India has just started on standalone battery tenders, but I'm pretty sure that it will move on to very quickly, solar, wind plus battery combinations.
In the hope that at some point prices of materials or cost of financing will levelize and become stable.
Malaysian regulators looking to see how the data centers might be able to play a part in the context of JB, where there is water scarcity.
There will be greater intra-Asian trade. Again, yes, you can feel that it is tied in a bit to the China Plus One strategy, but it's also about the point about Asia supply chains becoming more integrated with each other, and that should also theoretically see ports through as well.
I think there's a lot of area where where traditional form of capital don't normally play with, and I think that's where blended finance solutions could potentially be quite interesting.
I'm really happy to be here. The Asset has always been a very phenomenal event, meeting the top players in the industry, and also, more importantly, understanding the latest trends in the infrastructure space. I think especially because APAC is such a diverse number of countries and nuances all around the region. So it's a very good platform to understand what's going on and what the latest trends are.
So if they are based out of the EU, then it means that the operators at the end of the day or investors would have to also comply with these ESG requirements there. So at the end of the day, really, I think it ties back to the end customers.
For evaluating any data center opportunity, the first you start with site selection. I think that is paramount, right? You need to put a site or select a site in a location which has a multiple ways to win.
See, I think you have to see the life cycle of the data center, at what part of the life cycle the data center is. If it's at the initial part when you're acquiring land for the data center, I think it mostly would be equity funded.
If I were to try to simplistically characterize it, it's by the workload. Is it a cloud workload or is it an AI workload? Because each market is in quite different maturity in terms of cloud adoption as well as AI rollout.
So we've seen new banks, new investors, new pools of liquidity in the lending space come through. Whether that's on the local currency side as we enter different markets, or whether we've also seen Islamic financings done for data centers.
It has been very insightful, and I think being based in Singapore, which is basically the regional hub, you hear all these things, and I think the topics being covered today were quite talk of the town. So it was very insightful to get views from experts from different backgrounds, like from developers to like financing backgrounds to the OEMs.
The perception of the affordability will be different. It's exactly the same in hydrogen and power energy sector. The localization, the application will define the level of affordability.
And in Asia specifically, I think we can probably distinguish countries that are producing or would produce hydrogen and would be net exporter of hydrogen or vectors of hydrogen, and net importers of hydrogen.
So Singapore government has also, I think, shortly and has already shortlisted a pilot project for 50 to 60 megawatt to develop an ammonia-based power plant and scalability.
We really need to look at aggregating and stimulating demand so that we can start to go down this learning curve, right? Right now, most of the projects that are happening globally are at too small of a scale and too disparate locations for us to really start going down that learning curve.
Hydrogen is available. The challenge is that the way to make hydrogen right now is by reforming fossil fuels. So the CO2 goes up into the air as you separate the hydrogen out of hydrocarbons.
I very much enjoyed the event. It was a great networking opportunity. I got to meet many people in the sector, and I'm sure I will remain in touch with many of them.